Jacob, mate, I found out something very interesting today.
What'd you find out?
Well, as you will see throughout this video, turns out the only way you can get kind of a good HiLux is if you spend a bit of cash, $10 more specifically, than a V6 Ford Ranger Wildtrack.
What?
Yeah, I actually kind of like this thing.
It's not bad.
I know. Oh, Matt hates Toyotas. No, I just don't love bad Toyotas.
Fair enough.
But this is actually pretty decent. I kind of like it.
Is it worth 10 buckaroonies more than a Ford Ranger though?
Oh, well, that's what we're about to find out. Guess what, Jacob?
What?
These people can save a lot of money if they use my link to Driva. Driva is a fintech finance comparison site. They are a startup. Best of all, they are consumer focused. And even better, if you use my link to save yourself a lot of money when you finance your next car, you can get a $150 fuel card.
Holy crap.
Yep, I had to that one out. PG only here. Let's get into the review.
Let's do it.
Now, as always, let's start by talking about the front of this thing. You get these pretty cool LED headlights here. They're actually quite bright. Daytime running light there, and you've got a little turning signal there. Pretty big grille. Can't be a Ute without a ginormous grille. And got the Toyota badge there. Didn't mention this. This is the Rogue, and that will set you back
70,200.
There you go, because I have forgotten. That's a lot of money. That's some change.
Friend, how could you forget the price when it's $10 more than Ford Ranger Wildtrack?
It's on the top of my mind at all times, frankly. What you get with this is actually quite substantial. There is a big difference between this year's Rogue versus previous Rogues, and that's because the front is wider, the back is wider, and this thing is taller. In fact, let's just talk about that. Impressively, this thing has actually had a massive increase in the front axle width. So yes, this thing does have a body kit on it, makes it look quite big, but it's not just cosmetic. Under the surface, they've actually had to do that because they've extended it out by 140 millimeters at the front, and then at the rear, it's just a little bit longer there as well. My dog is lying on Jacob. That's very cute. Let me just take a quick vid of that, Jacob. That is beautiful.
It's beautiful. I feel loved.
It's wholesome. You've also got a fake scuff plate down there, but you do have a sump guard underneath. So when you take this thing off-roading, you're not just gonna damage all the internals, at least not instantly.
Nice.
Let's talk about the side.
Let's.
Now, as we come to the side, you're gonna see that this thing is a big old fatty like me. Great, because it actually looks pretty damn sick.
I don't think it's fat. I think it's jacked, bro.
Yeah, it looks pretty jacked, actually. You got some black plastic cladding, of course, that's all around the car. It couldn't be an off-roader without some black plastic cladding. You also get these new 18-inch wheels here. You've got some fat tires there as well. And as you'll see, this thing is actually pretty damn good on the road. And this thing is also quite tall. So it's an inch all around taller. It's actually quite substantial.
Nice. I wish I had an extra inch.
Yeah, I know you do. Me too. Who doesn't? If you don't, you're a liar. Now, blacked out mirror caps here. You've got a 360 camera there, awful 360 camera. Really, really bad. Graphics are just terrible, but anyway, at least you get it, I suppose. You've got a door handle here. We love that, but that has keyless entry and go.
I'm glad you really show us all the features of the car, Matt.
Everything. Windows, aluminium.
And wheels.
And wheels. You do have a little bit of a side step here. We like to see that. Privacy glass too, so no one can see your little children in the back or your workmates, because you're a real tradie. Maybe not with the Rogue, but we'll come back to that. And it's actually kind of funny because I've had to cut out this little black plastic cladding to be able to open up the fuel filler cap. Otherwise, they would have had to move the whole thing.
This car has a chip on its shoulder.
Took me a second, but I got there. Let me know if you got there down in the comment section below, and subscribe. We have a baby dancing there and a baby dancing there.
There's no dancing man.
No dancing man, not yet. And actually, as part of the upgrades that this thing has received, which is actually pretty substantial, you also get blind spot monitors and rear cross traffic alert too. So pretty cool. The other thing I kind of really like with this is this. You get these mud flaps that say HiLux embossed into them. I don't know, it's kind of a cool feature, Jacob.
Very cool.
I like it. You can also see here the piece à la résistance. That's how you say it. You got the Rogue badge there, but also an integrated sail something. Whatever it is, it's pretty cool. I think it makes this thing look really mean. I love the paintwork as well. I'm usually not a silver fan, but this thing actually looks sick. Really cool. And actually part of the way that they have raised the height of this car is they've got new dampers in the rear, and which makes it a lot better on the road as well, but you'll see that in a moment. The other thing as well, they've added a beam in the back, and that helps with torsional rigidity when you are turning corners, thing like that. So this thing handles a little bit more like a car. It's still a body on frame construction, meaning there's two steel beams, the body goes on top. This thing weighs a lot. What was it, Jacob? Like over 2 tons?
Yeah, it's like 2.3 or something.
2.3 tons or something ridiculous. It's added 20 kilos to the back, which does actually affect the tub. But again, we'll come back to that in a second. But it's pretty cool. I love seeing the leaf springs under there and the 2 steel beams. Better for off-roading. Allows for more rigidity off-road. A lot worse for on-road driving. But hey, if you're buying a HiLux, you're always off-road, right?
Apparently.
Let's talk about the back. And then coming to the derriere, the Toyota HiLux Rogue. Get these really cool 3D effect lights there. Kind of like that. Rogue badge there, that's cool. HiLux badge with, jeez, that's heavy. Think they didn't add the ultra lightweight tailgate like you got on a Ford Ranger.
And you save yourself $10.
And that really hurt my back.
You can get back in the gym, mate.
I know. Toyota badge there. You've got your little step in the back. You've also got a towing kit and a wiring harness that comes as standard on this, which is pretty cool to see. And even though this tow ball is rated for 3.5 tons, this is only rated for 3 tons. So keep that in mind. This isn't going to be the best tower. In fact, now in the range, the best is the V6 Ranger, but that's not a review for today. By the way, if you want to go watch that after this. I'll link it at the end. Ugh. Let's open up this tonneau cover. Designed in Australia. We love to see that. There was a fly there. You can see it's all carpeted as well. This feels primo, like the ham. But don't worry, it's removable and it's marine grade. So if it gets wet, you're probably gonna be fine. It's not the biggest in class, but it is quite decent. So in its class, the HiLux actually has one of the longest boots, also one of the widest, at least between these 2 points here, because in between there, in the wheel arches, you don't get that much, or at least not as much as competitors. It's also not the tallest in its height, but it's still plenty practical. What makes this definitely not a tradie's choice is that roll top tonneau cover. Because even though it's integrated with the locking system, that's pretty cool, you can't do much with this boot. And if you remove it, I mean, what's the point of getting the Rogue at that point? Right, Jacob?
Exactly.
What's the point of getting a steel tray in one of these bad boys?
What's the point in anything?
I don't even know. Didn't mention as well, you've also got a 12-volt socket in the back.
Lovely.
Love to see that. And a couple of LED lights in there too. So I mean, I really like this, and as a lifestyle ute, it's really practical, but as a tradie vehicle, less so. Go get the SR5 at your own peril. Go watch my review on that and you'll see why. Let's check out the interior. All right, if you want to hear the biggest stretch of the year, Toyota describes this interior as luxury.
Well, it's got leather seats.
Oh, leather
As
seats.
standard.
Look, to be fair, these leather seats are a lot nicer than the optional leather seats that you get in the SR5 trim, which is like $5,000 less. And that doesn't even net you a leather steering wheel. This is leather. Oh, it's a nice leather unit. Buttons to control absolutely everything. Little stalk down here for your adaptive cruise control, which is actually pretty good to see. No lane keep assist, though a lot of you hate that, so whatever. You do have a lane departure warning, though. We love when it breaks the wheel. That's awesome. You can turn that off though. And a little bit of a nitpicking here, it does turn off the adaptive cruise control under 25 kilometers an hour. And I want it under 25 kilometers an hour when I'm stuck on the highway.
It's precisely when you want it.
That's literally when you want it. Anyway, nitpicking aside, scratchy materials everywhere. It does look pretty nice though. In fact, this is one of the better looking interiors, I think, in the segment. The Ranger absolutely blows this thing out of the water on the interior. It just does. But you do get some soft leather here. You get some soft leather on your armrest. Speaking of, bit of storage in there, and a household socket. 100 watt, so not the biggest thing out there, but actually quite decent. Speaking of storage, you've got, look at that, dual glove box, really like that. But that's kind of in every ute now. You've also got a little cup holder here, and you can flick that part forward, and then you got some storage. So that's cool. That's on both sides too. Technology in here is pretty lacking. This screen is fine. and it is pretty responsive, actually. I think they've updated the CPU in these because, I mean, they've been around for a long time, but this one's feeling a bit more snappy. Does have wide Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I don't care about that not being wireless because it works better when it's plugged in.
Yeah, but you only get one USB port.
You only get one USB port, and you don't get any wireless charger for the top of the range HiLux, at least for now, until the GR Sport comes. That's pretty disappointing. You get two 12-volt sockets though, and by the way, the seats are heated, but you use like a 1990s button to do so. This thing is a proper off-roader, of course, so it's got a low-range transfer case. When you're driving around, normally it is just rear-wheel drive. When you go off-road, you have your controller here, and you can change it to four-wheel drive high or four-wheel drive low. Yes, it has a low-range transfer case. It's also got a rear-locking diff, which you're not supposed to change until the car is in low range and the car is in neutral. Keep that in mind. Storage area up front with a couple of cup holders. So you get 4 up front. That's actually pretty cool. A little storage area there as well. You've also got your eco and power modes. All that does is change the throttle response. Take that as you will. I do like the air conditioning controls though. They're all just easy to use. They're right up in front of you. Dual zone, so everyone is happy. This thing also is so much better than the SR5 because it has a JBL sound system. Now, it's a JBL branded sound system, and you got these like mushroom looking things just sitting on the dash, but I kind of like it. Sound system in here is decent, so almost no complaints there. Did I talk about this? The instrument cluster, analog. Average in the center is a little screen where you can go through a bunch of different things. Definitely not the digital instrument cluster that you get in the Wildtrack, but it's fine. It's okay.
Does the job.
That's kind of the theme of this car, right? It doesn't actually feel bad in here. The SR5 felt worse because the seats were just awful. You got the plastic steering wheel. This actually feels like you could call this luxurious when you compared it to the model below, which is almost a bit sad. But at 80 grand, I don't know. I'm in two minds, man.
It's a tough one. You do get electric seats though.
You do, but on the driver's side, not the passenger side.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be negative here, right? This car just speaks for itself. It's kind of lacking. It's kind of lacking.
Agreed.
Let's talk about the back seat. I need to make a correction from my last SR5 HiLux review, and that is that the seat bases do actually fold up, and you get a pretty decent amount of storage underneath them. Stand by though that these don't move forward, at least I haven't figured it out. I think you can remove bolts, but that's ridiculous. Every other Ute now, you can lift that up and also pull that forward for a little bit of extra storage. Anyway, so getting in is quite simple because you've got this enormous grab handle here, but bit disappointing, man. And it's disappointing because you don't get much legroom. I'm 5'11". I'm really not that tall. A lot of taller people out there, and you're probably not going to be very comfortable back here without compromising in the front, and you just don't see that in other Utes. There's almost no tow room, which again kind of sucks, especially on longer journeys. That's going to be annoying. And the headroom is really short as well. Again, I'm 5'11", not that tall. You got a couple of air vents though. That's nice to have. No way to charge devices in the back though. Again, I mean, that's just missing out. I'm pretty sure this came out in 2018, so I don't know. Anyway, you get some hooks here. You can hang stuff off of that, but only 4 kilos. And you've got a map pocket there too. You get the nice leather in the back though as well. And I stand by that this is better than the SR5's optional one, and it's all perforated and it feels quite nice back here. Oh, also this center armrest, nice and soft, and a couple of cup holders there too. I don't know what to say, man.
Me neither, man.
Okay.
Kind of lost for words.
Look, it's not the best. And if you think that this is the best, you're a loose unit. Let's talk about the engine. Generally speaking, I actually really like this engine. It's a nice 4-cylinder, 2.8 litre turbo diesel, 150 kilowatt, 500 Newton meters of torque. It is quite peppy. In fact, it's one of the most peppy 4-cylinders I think I've ever test driven, at least in a Ute. I know, big call, big call. But here's the thing, right? Before you all go to the comment section where you're like, this is so much more reliable, than the V6 Ranger or the bi-turbo 4-cylinder Ranger, I don't think you're right. Because these were all recalled because they were breaking down because of the stupid DPF filters. Sure, the engine might be reliable, but they're all choked by emissions restrictions. So you're gonna find unreliability on pretty much any diesel car these days. It's kind of just how it is, which is pretty sad, Quite a sad reality, Jacob.
It's the world we live in, bro.
And then here's the other thing, the 4-cylinder bi-turbo that you can get on the Ford Ranger Wildtrack, you save about $3,000 or so for an engine that's just as peppy as this. Some people are like, oh, this can get fuel economy in the 7s. I think they're all on drugs, right? We were on a highway going 100 kilometers an hour and we were sitting at about 9.8 liters per 100 kilometers on a flat piece of ground. So I don't know where these claims are coming from.
I think it's because you put it in 3rd gear, bro, and you were just riding the clutch.
Yeah, if this thing had a manual. Great segue though, because this doesn't. It has a 6-speed torque converted automatic transmission, which as you'll see is pretty decent. But let's launch this thing, see how quickly it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour to satisfy all of my fans. Let's do it.
Do you reckon we'll get to 100?
We'll find out. Okay, friend, it's time to launch the HiLux Rogue. That's the one we've got today.
Okay.
What do you reckon it's going to do, 0 to 100?
13, no.
Jeez.
10.6.
Seems a bit more reasonable, yeah. I'm going to say 10.1 seconds. This thing is a beast. All right, bro, let's launch this bitch.
Before we do though, I want to revise my estimate.
Okay, 2.
9.8.
Noted. Power, sport, brake boost launch, build up boost in the turbo. Fist me hard. Oh.
That wasn't great.
Baby, I believe in you.
Changing back. 10.6.
Too late, you're locked in.
God damn it.
Oh, and now I win. And now I win. You've lost. 0 to 100 in 10.96 seconds.
Why does this always happen to me?
Let's drive it normally. All right, friend, time to drive this thing normally.
What is this thing?
This thing is a bloody HiLux.
It's a bloody HiLux.
We're gonna put the car into power because it has driving modes.
What even is that?
Let's put the transmission into sport. Downshift, downshift. Look, the 6-speed is not the most responsive thing out there,
Yeah.
but it does the job. It's actually pretty quick for a 2.8 litre 4-cylinder. You know what's interesting?
What?
We had an Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. That was a 2.9 litre V6.
And this is only a little bit slower.
So this thing is, it's got a big engine, but all of these cars do. Like the Isuzu D-Max with its 4JJ3 3-litre 4-cylinder, but this is a lot quicker. In fact, this is one of the quickest utes out there, barring the RAPTOR. Go watch that review, by the way, if you haven't already. Corner. Oh,
That was a bit saucy, man.
Giving a lot of sauce today. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, that's not bad.
I have a comment. You know how I said that it's wider at the front, quite substantially so, and even the rear, it's also a little bit taller, almost like a 1-inch lift. That's what you need, friend. It's it feels like any other HiLux to me, which is not a bad thing. It's not what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't fill me with pizzazz.
I feel you. But do you think it's worth $8,000 more than the SR5 that we drove?
Without a doubt, because I feel like this interior, for whatever reason, is just nicer. The seats, they aren't like the optional seat package, leather seat package you get in the SR5. These are actually like proper nice leather seats. Like, they feel like a little bit of effort has been put in. Yeah, the interior is not the nicest, okay? But like, the excuse I'm gonna make is, it's a HiLux. It's uninspiring.
Yeah. But Lux is in its name.
But Lux is in its name.
Oh.
Giving it some sauce, bro. The Rogue also has bigger front brakes, can you believe it? So we can do incredible things like this.
I will say though that the seats have almost no bolstering. And I need bolstering right now. Oh God.
You know, it feels its age. It's not all-wheel drive or permanent four-wheel drive like you'll find in the new Ford Ranger. I love, by the way, the fact that this thing is $10 more than a Ford Ranger Wildtrack V6.
I mean, it's kind of funny.
I'll be honest with you. I really like the way that this thing, like, you kind of just float along the road. It's quite comfy. These used to be notoriously shit, especially because in the rear, you kind of just bouncing around. But they updated that last year, and with this new Rogue, they have given better dampers in the rear. So unfortunately, you do lose that 20 kilos of capacity. Unreal.
Look, that isn't to say that it's perfect.
No.
There's still some shuddering going on,
No.
but it's a lot better than the old one.
Leaf spring suspension. What can we expect? Guess where we are, friend. You know,
I know
where we are.
exactly where we are.
Sport, power, tickle my pickle. Let's go. Why are we starting in third?
Oh God, is this a CVT, bro?
We're not in third. I don't get this transmission, man. I don't
It's
get the
weird.
numbering. It's weird. I don't like it. It's confusing.
Gun it.
I'm trying. My foot is firmly planted. You're a bad influence on me. Let's cross. Go. Okay. Look, no loss of the rear.
Look, I think that was the slowest we've gone up though,
I don't think so.
ever.
I don't think so. Might have felt slow for you because you've just come out of the IXM60 and a WRX, but for me that felt pretty good.
Maybe.
Okay, man. So to summarize how I feel this thing drives, decent.
Yeah.
Do I think it drives better than a Ranger? No.
No.
But that is newer, I suppose. I think this thing is feeling a bit long in the tooth, but for what you get, I don't know. It's probably my favorite HiLux.
I think so too. And we haven't driven the what is it? The Rugged X.
Rugged X.
Maybe that would be our favorite.
Or
but
the GR Sport coming next
Oh.
year. I wonder if that'll be the first HiLux to tip 100 grand. This isn't
No, surely
far
not.
off. No, but this isn't far off.
That's true.
Anyway, let's get into our final thoughts.
Let's.
Okay, so final thoughts on the HiLux Rogue, right? Here's what I think. Here's my final thoughts. It's probably the best HiLux, right? It is the most expensive HiLux though, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Bit of a stretch to call the interior luxury Toyota. Probably do better on that. Love the way that this thing looks. Drives really well. Peppy engine. Just costs a lot of money. Let me know what you guys think though down in the comment section and just below that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more hot takes that you won't find anywhere else. You just won't. Thank you guys very much for watching. Click over there to watch my Ford Ranger review. You will absolutely love it. And click over there to get finance for your next car. Save yourself a lot of money. Why wouldn't you? All right. Ciao for now.
Bye bye.